Now, I know what people want to hear. I have always known what people want to hear. Thank God, God has given me the grace to not necessarily give people what they want to hear, but to share the truth in the Bible. And that's quite an accomplishment, at least for me, and I couldn't do it without God's grace and power. But I know what people want to hear, and that is, all people want to hear that their loved ones, no matter how rotten, no matter how filthy, no matter how sinful, no matter how bad, no matter what, immediately go to heaven when they die. Now, let me ask you a question. Why would they want to hear anything else? I mean, nobody wants to hear about the other place, down there, whatever, up, wherever it's at. Okay. No one wants to hear, no one wants to hear there is a period of time where you are oblivious to the passage of time, where you are in the grave. And so we ministers give people, well, I don't, but often ministers give people what they want to hear and what they think is going to comfort the family. And yes, I understand, again, I guess the motive behind it, what people want to hear is that their loved ones immediately go to heaven when they die. That's what people want to hear. And so I understand that. 1 Corinthians 15 and verse 12, which is the resurrection chapter, it says, "Now if Christ be preached that he rose from the dead, how say some among you that there is no resurrection of the dead?" Question, is this what we are coming to? I mean, you check it out for yourself. You've probably experienced the conundrum of the double talk, where you're in the church and they're up in heaven, and then when you go to the graveside and they're waiting for the resurrection, you've experienced that. But I'm asking you now, your latest funeral, the funeral you'll go to tomorrow or the next week or whatever, see if you hear anything about the resurrection of the dead. And let me know. Is something missing? I went to a funeral just recently. There was no mention of the resurrection of the dead. And I told my wife, I said, I agreed with most of everything he said. I agreed with, ultimate goal is to be with the Lord and in his presence, and wherever God's at, that's where we'll be at. And I said, I agree with a lot of what he was saying. It's just that he left out the resurrection. He totally left that part. He missed it. He missed the boat. And it's hard to miss that boat if you got a Bible and can read it. 1 Corinthians 15, verse 13. "But if there be no resurrection of the dead, then is Christ not risen. And if Christ be not risen, then our preaching is vain, and your faith is vain also." If there is no resurrection, and if Christ be not risen, our faith is vain also. So how important is it to preach the resurrection?
Check us out on the web at isthatreallyinthebible.com.